What's up, guys? It's Chris. Welcome to VHP Engines. So, I'm going to tell you, well, it's story time. I'm going to tell you guys what happened for my weekend, leading up to, during, after, and the second day, and the aftermath of Honda Day, and what it means for me going forward, because I had random ideas of making all, possibility of multiple trips this year, like I've been talking about, but also, like I mentioned, sorry, was that I needed to do this trip first to see how it panned out, to see how everything went before I could start to really settle in to make some other plans. And now that I have, and it is done, I have started moving in the direction of making plans, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. So, Honda Day, bought the ticket like a month ago, right? March 5th. I started poking around. I have two trips that are already scheduled. There was Honda Day, and I'm also going to my hometown of West Virginia, but that's not car related. That's family stuff going on there. So I had a trip this month and trip next month, and now I'm possibly a trip at the end of the summer. I was thinking about maybe a little sooner, but I don't want to go this month, next month, and month after. Even though they're going to be short trips, I think it might aggravate the wife. So I'm not going to do that. I'm probably going to wait a little longer. Also, I need to talk to some more people first before I can really settle in to make a locked-in date. So there's that. All right, so making my initial plans, right? So it was $130 for Spirit Airlines as a round trip. Excellent. A price that I can't argue with, right? And then, so the planning thing was terrible on my part. All right, so I had mentioned also, with the whole crap I had last month with the car problems, that I was probably just going to Uber. I didn't know exactly where the airport was going to until I already got the ticket, and then I didn't realize that it was like a 70-mile stretch. I thought it was like around 50 miles, which is, seemed doable, but 70-mile stretch, right? Also, the planning failure was going a day before the event happened was stupid. There was absolutely no reason for me to be there that early. I could have flown out of here at 8 o'clock in the morning, or I could have flown out of Fort Lauderdale like 7 o'clock in the morning and went straight to Honda Day from the airport and saved me a night stay at a hotel. All right, so I spent an extra $80-some or $90 that didn't need to get spent because I decided to get there a day early, and then I still got there, 2 hours after the gates opened. Now, why I decided to go with Uber and not the rental cars because of old YouTube videos I remember seeing of long lines for people waiting for hours in their car waiting to get inside Honda Day. So I'm like, well, fuck, wasting gas and wasting time when I could just take an Uber and walk straight in. That seems like that was my, the final straw that broke the camel's back in the situation for me not getting a rental car. And I figured the rental car is probably going to be around $50-$60, maybe a little bit more with the insurance and the taxes and everything. Plus, I got to fill up the tank, and there's going to be the mileage count. So I figured there's no way the Uber is going to cost me more than a rental car, and also in time. I'm pretty sure now that I was wrong. So I get there, and just to get a rough idea how far the trip's going to be, I punched it in, and it was $118. So I was like, holy Jesus, right? And I wasn't having any luck finding any hotels that were really close to the track. It was like the track, emptiness, and then hotel, but they were all like 20 miles out. The closest one I could find was 9.5. And on top of that, they were all a lot more expensive, $100 plus, minimum 80. So I was like, well, shit, again, trying to save money, plus trying to save on distance because of the Uber, I got a motel, the motel that was like closest, which is a funny story in itself, right? So the Uber driver was being nosy. He overheard, was listening to my conversation with my wife, and he was like, hey, man, if you want, you take my number down, and I'll come get you tomorrow, and I can save you some money on the trip. He's like, we take a little bit off, and then you just give that to me, and you don't have to go through Uber, and you save a little bit. I was like, man, sure, I got no problem with that. So I hit the dude up, and he was mad cool, and he was like offering to take me to stop and get something to eat first, but I passed on that because I'd rather eat at the event, just because I didn't want to load up with food when I'm gonna be walking around all day. So there was, and then I went and got the hotel, and I didn't really take a really good look at the room when I first got it. I literally just opened it, keyed open the door real quick, dropped my bag, and left. And then so go to the racetrack. Now it's Honda Day 1 was kind of a disappointment for me from the get go, just because, like I said, the planning thing, wasn't done properly. Coordination wasn't done, and I was just assuming that everybody I was going to meet was going to be there, or that I wanted to see was going to be there. Turns out that Kenny and Alex didn't get a chance to go. Fui did, representing Humble, but and he also made a personal best of 9.7 this weekend. But Alex and Kenny, who I really wanted to meet, didn't come out. So there was that. And then so I messaged Jesse, was the first person. Jesse Martinez from Nippon Racing was the first person I kind of reached out to when I got out there. And he's like, I'm not out there. I'm at an event in California. So there was like a sister event that's kind of going on that was out there in Cali, and he was attending that one. And he told me the CSS booth was up and to go check it out. I was like, okay, yeah, because I'd seen that on the way in. But I stopped by the booth, and there was a guy there. And it turns out he's a dude from Enemy Creations. And I asked about Jeff, and he's like, Jeff's like, oh, over there, or something like that. And I'm like, oh, okay, fuck. But I had never seen Jeff's face at the time, so I didn't know how to find him. All right, so like on Facebook we're friends, but it's like I'm pretty sure he's got a cylinder block as his profile picture, and I've never seen him post anything personal on Instagram of his face, like that. So I've seen the guy comment a million times, but I've never seen him. And never seen him tagged with anybody's shit either. So I'm like, fuck, well, I can't just go randomly out there searching for the guy because I don't know what he looks like. So, I was fucking a little disappointed, because I was, waiting to speak to Irvin. Irvin hadn't got out there yet, it was running late, and I wasn't sure if Irvin was going to come because he said he was going to be a couple hours behind, wind up not being until almost the end of the day. And then, I wasn't, Jesse wasn't there, and then Kenny and Alex weren't there, and I couldn't find Jeff. So I was like kind of fucking bummed out, and I was like, damn, at this point I'd already been there a couple hours, and I'm roasting in the fucking sun. This is the aftermath after a couple days, and it was much worse. Turns out by the end of the weekend, my whole left side of my face was deeply burned, and my nose is already starting to peel now. So my neck and face were roasted. It was freezing in the fucking morning. Luckily, my wife packed my hoodie for me because I wasn't gonna. So it was really cold in the morning, and then the sun came out around 1 o'clock and roasted me. And so after a while, I guess I got up and I decided to just walk and take a look at the cars and everything. And I wound up bumping into a couple guys over the course of the weekend too. They came up and said what's up, and I appreciate that. That's cool, guys. It's good to see that there are some people that showed up at the event that have watched my stuff. That's pretty cool. So I'm walking, right, and where Honda Day has started to turn for me was during the trip, right. So I'm seeing, I'm struggling for internet out there, and I'm killing the fuck out of my phone because I'm bored, going through, because it's at first it was open racing versus for the people who just showed up, they wanted to run, they weren't really fast, and then a lot of mistakes there, just a lot of boring passes. And then it took a while. I didn't really start getting, pepping up the races until it got to qualifications, but that was after, well, I'm about to tell you. So I'm walking down through the stretch, I'm like, I'd seen the 4Piston, was posting, and I was like, well, they gotta have a booth. I just gotta find it. So I'm walking. I find the booth, and then there they all are. It's just the whole crew is there, and I was like, fucking, it's the guys, right? And then I see Luke walking back and forth between the booths, and I walked up to him, and I caught him real quick, and he stopped and he talked to me, and I kind of awkwardly introduced myself and hey, this is who I am. And he's like, yeah, I've seen some of your stuff. And I was like, well, that's fucking cool, man. I geeked out, and I'm trying not to shake as I reached out to fucking shake this dude's hand, because he's the guy I've been waiting to meet for so long. This is the guy that really got me, changed my perspective on what's possible out there, and I've been harping on him and dick riding for fucking, I think, a year and a half now or more, maybe even 2 years. And then here this guy is, larger than life. I'm look, for real, Luke is big as fuck, man. I'm not a giant guy, but I am not used to have to look up to people when I'm talking, and I'm looking up at this guy, and he's leaning forward to hear me because, of course, so much noise and shit. And I'm just wow, dude, you're really big. He's like, yeah, I'm a fat fuck. I'm like, no. You're not fat, dude. You're tall as fuck. You're a giant. So anyway, it was kind of awkward for me because I didn't really have, like, what are we going to talk about? And then plus he was busy walking back and forth between the booths, talking to the guys, and they were doing shit with the cars to prep. And, and he's like, yeah, we're going to have some fast cars out there, which were, of course. And then, just kind of like, all right, man, it was really cool to meet you, and peace out. And then I got to walking it. So at that point, I was really happy. I was geeked out because Luke was definitely one of the people I wanted to meet, and I was able to, even though it was really quick, I was really excited about that. And I would eventually, and I think it's possible that, one day I'll be able to catch this guy in a conversation at some point in time, because I'm just going to be persistent, which we're going to talk about later. I'm going to stick around. So that was cool, and that kind of brought up my spirits like a whole fuck ton. And I was like, all right, man, that's really awesome. I got to meet him. I was like, and I know Jeff is here somewhere. So as long as I get to meet Jeff, and if Irvin shows up, especially if Irvin shows up and I get to talk to Jeff, then the trip will have been worthwhile. And I can't say anything bad about it. So Irvin did eventually show up. I think around like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So he showed up, and he brought one of his homeboys with him, who turned out his name's Marcus. Turned out to be cool as fuck. So, and it was, the meeting went exactly the way I figured it would, but you never know 100% how things are going to be until you meet somebody. Same thing like with my run-in with Jeff and Luke. I had absolutely no idea how these conversations were going to go. Even though these were the dudes I was going up there for, primarily to meet, I didn't know how it was going to be. Luke, I wish I could have had more conversation with him, but, it was, like I said, what we were going to talk about, it was quick. He was busy. There's nothing I could really say. I'm not trying to, he wasn't rude or anything. Try to leave fast. I let him go because, what else do I have to talk about? And, obviously I see they're busy, and I'm not dick, so I'm not going to try and hold this guy down just because I'm fanboy. And so I didn't know, so I didn't know how things were going to go with Irvin when I first met him, but right away it just like, yeah, we know each other. And it was, we've been talking for a long time on social media, through everything, and it translated immediately over in person. It was just like meeting an old friend. So, we got to talking and yakking back and forth. We watched, started watching some of the big qualifying runs. The fast guys started coming out. The 9-second passes, the 8-second passes. I think there was the 1 7-second pass. So there was that, plus I'd been sitting further down the track earlier in the day, and I had moved down to the pit by that point. So we're right in front of the staging area watching these guys take off. And it was like, these cars were so fucking fast, it was like a sonic boom when they took off. Like when they launched perfect, you could feel that shit in your chest. So that was cool, right? I think we hung out for like another hour or so, and it was like, all right, it's getting late, and we've already watched the majority of qualifying. At that point in time, people were just making like the second passes or whatnot, like the people who boloed or whatever. They were going through again or trying to, improve their times. So we were like, all right, man, we're going to bounce out, right? So he drove his Integra. For those of you guys that know Irvin and watch his channel, like the Integra that he built, he was been working on for a long time. It's running, but it's gutted out. There's only 2 seats. So, of course, he brought Marcus with him, so I couldn't ride along. And I was like, no big deal. I'm just going to Uber back to the hotel, and you get back to where you're going, and then we'll link up afterwards, and we'll go out. And this is when I realized, that I really fucked myself on the whole no rental car thing. So I go walk towards the gate. The further I get towards the main streets, the better reception I'm having. Not fantastic, but better. So I punch in Uber again, and there's one Uber that shows up in like an 80-mile radius, and it's a 28-minute wait. So, and then my phone's lagging, so I'm there for 15 minutes, like wondering if this guy's actually coming or not. And then finally the phone like reloads, and the car moves forward, half the distance. I'm like, okay, so the guy's on his way. Then so I ride back to the hotel from there. It was a 9.5-mile trip. I didn't really think it was going to be that expensive. Turned out to be like a $24 ride, so I was kind of fucking salty about that. I was like, well, shit, But whatever, so I get back to the hotel, and then once I get in there, I realized that this place is fucked up. Like, I'd read shitty reviews on motels and cheap hotels before, and it never really bothered me when I still went to those places. It was like, okay, yeah, it's basic, but it's not bad. This place was bad. It had like shit on the walls, like stuck to like hard yellow stuff. There was a hole in one of the walls with a fucking baby wipe stuffed in the hole. And, everything was just dingy and nasty. Like there were shit crumbs in the fucking toilet when I first got in there. I had to flush it like 30 times and like fucking scrub the fuck out of the toilet. It was just, it was a fucking nasty experience. And then you clearly could tell that there's fucking like people living in some of these rooms, right? Like there's just, like you could just tell it was like a neighborhood of itself, right? So anyway, I think like an hour or so go by. There's nothing close by for me to go and get anything to eat. I would have to take a mission. There's only one Uber guy in the whole fucking South Maryland. So I was kind of like, fuck, like I definitely hope we link up Irvin again later, because if not, I'm gonna be fucked. So Irvin hits me back up. He's like, yeah, we're at the hotel. And he's like, if you want to, we got an extra couch. I got a hotel for the weekend because my whole crew's getting together, and not everybody's gonna stay with me though. And we got a couch if you want to crash on it. But at this point though, it's like 6 o'clock in the afternoon. I done had the hotel for the whole day. I wasn't gonna get my money back, and I wasn't gonna fucking waste the money by not staying. So I was like, no, don't worry about it. I'll come out there and chill with you, and then I'll just come back here afterwards. I was like, and you ain't got to bring me back. I'll just, I'll get an Uber if anything, not a big deal. So then Irvin comes back out with his other homeboys, and they scoop me up. And then I got to meet 2 other guys, Eric and fucking Terrence. Both also cool as fuck. And also right away hit it off with. It was fine. Like immediately roll into conversation. It's the best case scenario you could hope for when you're meeting new people. It was just like we all knew each other forever. And like Irvin and these guys did know each other forever, It's kind of like my childhood crew, but they stayed in touch. And even though they don't all chill like they did this weekend, they all still hang out at some point in time with each other, and they all still get along. I don't fuck with nobody from my childhood. It just doesn't happen. Or my teenage years, I should say, not necessarily my childhood, right? So there's that. So we go out with them. We go hit Chipotle. And for those of you, here's a little fun fact. Maybe Chipotle is my first time. I broke my Chipotle cherry. I'd never been to before. It was pretty fucking good. So yeah, there was that. And then we go back to the hotel, and then we all just fucking chill, swap stories, and just some of us was drinking. I think all of us drank at least a little bit. I drank only just a beer because, again, I'm not trying to load up and be dumb when I've only got a couple days and I'm out away from home. So, yeah, but that might change in the future. Who knows? So after, I think around like 1 o'clock, Irvin had told me that he's going to take me back. And I'm like, okay, that's awesome. So, and he's starting to crash out. So I just tell him, all right, let's go. We'll take off. And then, of course, we make plans for the next day. And that was it. That wraps up the first day of Honda Day. It turned out to be really good. I got to meet a lot of fucking great guys and, make some new friends, man. And, like I said, best possible case scenario. It wasn't awkward at all. We all got along real well. And then, so the next day, they come through, Eric and Irvin come out and scoop me up. We go back to Honda Day, but we don't go so early this time. I left the hotel, of course, 11 o'clock checkout. So right around 11 o'clock, we go to the event from there. And then I got extremely lucky coming into the event. We come in from the backside this time because, they were like offering discounts if you actually wanted to put your car in the car show. And that was fucking full this time. Like the second day, the main event day, it was maxed out, or damn near maxed out. And it was much more shit was popping. Right, so much more energy. There was a higher level energy, like more cars to see. So I came out there with people this time, so I'm not just like randomly walking around by myself. So it was much better the second go around. And when I say for lucky is because coming in, we're working our way towards the bleachers. We're going towards the pit again, and we passed by the CSS booth, and I see a dude from the day before from Enemy Creations, and there's another guy sitting in the back. I'll get to in a second. And another dude who was squatting down with his back facing towards me, and he's, pulling shit out of a box. And so I kind of like lean into the dude, and I whisper, I was like, is that Jeff? Is that Jeff over here? And he hears me, and he turns around, and he stands up, and he walks over, he's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, fuck, yeah, okay, cool, man, I found you. Yeah, I was like, of course, introduce myself again. He's like, yeah, yeah, of course. He's like, of course I know you, I watch your stuff. And I was like, well, that's fucking awesome, And then we just start talking. And this was also best case scenario, what I could have hoped for. We had a long conversation. And it was just really cool, man. Like, it was really cool to have this OG of the industry who literally has his own class of racing now, and his fucking creations is like helping set records and shit for like technically stock sleeves. So it was just really fucking cool to get that piece of history, and then like just talking to him about how he came up with the idea and what he thought was going to be a 500 horsepower solution turned out to be so much more. right? That they, hundreds of horsepower beyond that people are regularly putting out. All right, so talked to him for a long while, and then like, so the guy that I had met the day before that was running the booth and everything, and it was still there, and he looked real familiar, and I was like, dude, I've seen your face, like, you look like somebody that I know, I just don't know where I've seen you from. And then he's like, yeah, he goes, I live in Tampa, and we were for Enemy Creations. I'm like, yes, okay, now it's familiar, I got it, and that's why I was like, I've seen him on Instagram, and I was like, well, that's cool. And then, of course, Jeff's like, yeah, he's out of Florida, too. And he's like, oh, okay, that's cool. And I was like, yeah, my mother lives in Tampa. I live in Fort Lauderdale. And, so that was cool. And then, and I was like, I'm looking at the Hub City Performance stuff. They got the hubs out there. And I was like, man, I can't wait till this shit starts getting mass produced. And he's like, oh, they are now. They are getting mass produced. I was like, that's what, Kenny is using for his hatch. And he's like, yes, that's what he's got now. So the dude in the back that was sitting in the lawn chair was the guy from Hub City. I'm like, oh, so that's cool shit, man. I'm a big fan of yours too. So again, geeking out some more. You see these guys, fucking awesome. And then Jeff, has enough insight on what I do here that he was even able to describe my channel to the dude, which was awesome and like amazingly flattering. So I'm like, it's just, it couldn't have been more perfect for me. Even though I wasn't able to meet Alex and Kenny or Jesse, the whole thing with Jeff made everything, like, that was the last piece I needed. I got to meet Luke in person. That was a big thing for me. I've been wanting for years. Irvin came out, and it was beyond fucking what I could have hoped for a get together. And then I was able to talk to Jeff, who was one of the big guys and what helped with the sponsorship for the Integra. Which, another reason why I wanted to see him is to apologize for sitting on the engine for so fucking long and not having it running. And which of course he was cool and understanding about. And the original plan was to give it to somebody, but then I wound up in a fucking move, and then I moved down to Florida, and I have nobody that I can also give it to without giving my whole swap. It would be the only way that I could make it work. And I'm not trying to give my entire swap away. It's a lot of money. And, and of course, if I really wanted to see it run, it would be like the entire swap, the turbo kit and all that shit. I'm just like, nah, I got too much time invested in it at this point. And too much money to just, give away all my shit. So I have to push myself through to getting it done, to making it all work. And of course, like I said, he was really understanding about that. He's like, yeah, I understand. Everybody's busy. You got a lot of work to do, which is true. I do keep myself busy, even though I'm not working on the car. I've still always got engine blocks that I'm trying to tear into, which I'll talk about a little bit further down the line. We're getting close to the end of the story now. This is day 2, remember? And Jeff was the last guy I talked to, so that was that. So we went and sat down, watched some more of the races, got to see, the back-to-back 9.5 second passes that Four Piston made. I was there for 9.5 and then 9.5 right after. That was cool as fuck. And then I got to see Fui make his, first pass of the day, which was he ran the 9.8. And, so yeah, I didn't take a lot of pictures because it was going to be a bunch of pictures of cars, of other people's cars. It was cool, but I'm not going to flood my IG with random car pictures, and I wasn't going to make a video because I know that as far as car shows go, people don't really tend to watch that kind of shit. Which my wife was salty about. She's like, "Why didn't you make videos? I wanted to see, you should have made videos with the people you met." I'm like, yeah, but I'm not trying to stick a camera in people's face. Plus, it's awkward for me. I want to have a real, genuine conversation, and I don't want to have, this kind of like shit where it's awkward. And I was very happy that I was able to have a real conversation, with Jeff. And so that was really cool. And I look forward to meeting the guy again, maybe in a better situation where where more people are involved and, get Jesse out there and everything and catch everybody. So then we wound up leaving kind of early that day. Like I said, I was going to, we wound up leaving the track around 3 o'clock because, I wanted to be heading towards the airport by 5. So the cool shit is Eric, he volunteered to help me out and he saved me a big chunk of money to take me up to the airport. So I rode up with Irvin and Eric. And before we rode out, I passed by Irvin's house. So I think we passed by real quick the night before, but we went by again, and I was able to meet the more of the family, which is cool. Cool people. The wife is awesome, and he's got the 4-month-old is cute, and he has a daughter there. So then that was cool. We got to swap some stories real quick and got to chill and hang out, and then the ride up. and got to talk to do some more future collaborations. We're definitely we're gonna push towards the K thing, and I'm gonna see if I can't help out Eric get back into the Honda scene, because God damn it. And help him see about getting into a K swap. See about so I have 2 more K28-3. Wow, my shit is like fucking retarded dead. 2 more K28-3s that I can dig into. Hopefully these don't have scarred cylinder walls, and if they don't, then we can I can do some more Frankenstein like poor man type A2 builds. Sorry, this is aggravating me. I got fucking blue screen. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why my computer's not responding. Told me to go fuck myself. So there's that, and then of course while I was out there on a day also, or on the way to the first day, Shane, who I've mentioned numerous times, that was supposed to get the B series block for me, asked me if we can do the single cam instead, just because the transmissions are becoming so scarce and hard to find that are healthy, that aren't costing an arm and a leg. So I said, yeah, it's cool, because I hadn't mentioned yet what I was going to tell you guys now, is that because homeboy here has a B series and he's ready to go, I offered to give him the block instead, and I was just going to, with as much time as Shane was seeming to take, I was going to be able to build another one for him anyway. But now that he wants to go with a route of single cam, and I know he can move forward with this, that means the Vitara block I've been sitting on for a year and change, that is finally going to get used. So that's going to also move out here from the shelter it's in, to be prepped, to be gone over again real quick and checked out and make sure it's good, and then prepped for running. And what I'm going to do with the B20 is I'm going to take off all the accessories I need and swap them over to the LS that's built, and then we're just going to see about getting gasket kits and studs and shit, so that way I can finish the assembly. So there's that. Now, what I meant to talk about for the aftermath of what it means for me, what happened for Honda Day, is now that I am more comfortable with the whole idea of the rental car and everything, and I know Spirit's cheap, I started Google searching flights from my place to Tulsa, where Humble Performance is set up, and it's like a $200 round trip. So I'm like, that's more than doable. And so there's that. And then I also looked out for Fontana in California, where Jesse's lives at. And I figure what's going to happen is that, LA has got all kinds of Honda events. So I figure that one of the ones later on in the year, I'll pick out that. And then there's a good chance that Jesse's going to show up. I'll coordinate with him and then fly out there. And then, so there's a 100% chance I'm going to go to LA this year. I just, what's most likely going to happen is I've reached out to Kenny, but it was kind of late tonight. I didn't last night because, I got home late, and then I didn't today because I kind of had to wake up and go to work. So I reached out tonight and asked, to see what's up, if I could pass by for an afternoon, spend a day at the shop. I would imagine he's going to say yes, but I can't 100% say that's going to be cool until I get the word. But if that is the case where there's no problem, and I don't imagine there would be, then the first trip I'm going to take the second trip I'm going to take for the Honda World will be to Tulsa to go out to Humble Performance. So that way I'll be guaranteed to be able to meet Alex and Kenny, and I'll be able to see the other guys that work at the shop too, and then be able to see the layer itself, to hang out for a day. When I was younger, I was a shop rat. If I met somebody that I clicked with, that had a shop that had Honda shit going on, I would hang out all the time. I did like with Johan when I started building engines, I hung out with all the time. And much earlier before that, there was Tony, who got me into the Honda world, and I hung out with him all the time. So going out to Humble Performance for a day, for an afternoon, to see if I could be a fly on the wall and just watch, as everything's going down, I think that'd be really cool. I would very much love to do that, and I'm hoping to do that within the next couple of months. I'm thinking that trip will be towards the end of the summer. I think that would be the time. Or maybe after the school year starts. I'm not 100% sure yet. But what I'll do is I'll take a long weekend, most likely like this, where I'll go out there on a Friday or whatnot and do that, and then chill over the weekend. But, of course, that has to be planned. But will be, because I'll have some time, and I'll have better expectations of what to expect going out there, and I'll be better prepared. So that way the trip won't cost me as much as this one did, because I wound up costing so much on travel, just back and forth with Uber and everything, and the hotels. So there's that, and then of course, like I said, the LA trip, which will most likely happen, and I'm not 100% sure where exactly I'm going to stay, but I guess that just depends on where the event's going to be. And of course, I've been to LA once before, but I stayed in the Santa Monica area. But I think what I'll do this time is I'll talk to Jesse in the near future, see about what event would be a big one to go out to, and then maybe coordinate with him because, of course, he knows the area better to see where exactly would be best for me to stay. But I might stay in the city itself. So for any of you Cali guys that go to the big California events for Honda out there, you know, maybe there's a chance for a link up there. Now, I didn't have droves of people come up to meet me, but I still had a couple guys that come up to talk. And yeah, if you're not busy and you want to yak for a while, I'm down to sit and have a conversation. So yeah, I look forward to those trips, and I still have El Paso on the back burner. I just had a friend hit me up that stays out there, and he moved to Cruces, but Cruces is still pretty close to EP, so there's a chance that I might go out there and chill for a while, also for a long weekend, and then meet from the guy from Garage Built Honda. So yeah, that'd be cool. I definitely wouldn't mind going out there. The guy's like a brother to me, so he's also like family. So going out there and chilling with him would be awesome, and then I get also the chance to meet another YouTuber. And yeah, so I guess the one more trip that I'm thinking we're debating, because I want to go back up there to chill with Irvin and them again, because hopefully by the next time I'm going up there, I will have already sent both of them an engine block. That's the hopes, is what we're hoping right now. Now, so then I have a couple of options, right? There's 2 more Honda days, and there's World Cup finals. Now, 2 more of the Honda days, one out of the 2 Honda days, 1 more is in Maryland again, and the World Cup finals also in Maryland. Now, the other Honda day would be New Hampshire. Jeff, I asked Jeff if he's going to be at World Cup finals, and he was like, no, but he's going to be at, I'm pretty sure, both the Honda days, well, for sure the New Hampshire one, because that's where he stays at. And he was saying Jesse's for sure going to be there. But I don't know anybody in that area, so for me to go out there again and Jesse not, for possibility of you not showing up, it would be a big expenditure to go out away. It would actually be easier for me to go out to LA, so that way I'm guaranteed to catch the guy, versus going to New Hampshire where there's not really much to do. At least that way, if I go to LA, there's, guaranteed a big meet that I haven't been to yet, and, go out there to the West Coast and chill for a couple of days again. And then, so there's that. And then, so what I'm thinking is, like, I'm either going back to Maryland for the last Honda day or for World Cup finals. And I figured that World Cup finals would probably be the better one, because that is for sure going to bring out all the big guys. So anybody that I may have missed that I might want to add, to the list of people to talk to will be there at World Cup finals. Also, I don't know if I mentioned this before or not, but Kyle from Boosted Boys, he mentioned that he's going to be at World Cup finals, and to come out, if I go out there, that we could link up. So there's that possibility, that could happen for the future, because I know that a bunch of guys have mentioned it on that channel a bunch of times, and of course before I said it never would happen, but this is the reason why you should never say never. And yeah, so that's a possibility that could also happen as well. Yep. So the whole